Welcome to the warm-up live. I'm Stu Wakeford. It wasn't a dream, Bees fans. This place, if you can see it, I know it's not the great lighting, will be home to Premier League football next season. And today, it just got a bit more real, as roughly half an hour ago, the fixtures for next season came out. We're all excited to bring you some live reaction to those games. And I'm delighted to say, joining me, as always, is the ambassador, Marcus Gayle, Brentford women's gaffer, Karleigh Osborne, Brentford women's player and Brentford fan, Chloe Webb, and Bees fan, Rob Jex. I tell you what this man doesn't know about Brentford is not worth knowing. How are we all? All right?
All very good, Stu.
Yeah, very well, thank you, Stu.
Congratulations, Chloe, on promotion. Also, congratulations, Karleigh, because I've not actually said it yet.
No, it's all right, though. The players deserve it more than me.
Chloe, Rob, as Brentford fans, how excited do you get for Fixtures Day, and is they even...
I never normally get excited, but now we're in Premier League, it's just a bit more excitement.
That's how I was, to be honest. I don't normally care about Fixtures Day, but I got up at 5:30 today. That's why I looked really tired, to be honest. What about yourself, Rob?
As a sad old man, I've always looked forward to it.
And what about you guys, as players? Did you look forward to Fixtures Day?
Yeah, I think you do. It's something to gear yourself up for. You know the season's going to come, but depending on who you have, it makes it a bit more exciting. So looking forward to it.
That's the professional answer. I know what you're going to say, because you said something different to me.
To be fair, I just used to look for where we are at Christmas to know when we had games, if I was playing New Year's Day or not. But no, it's an exciting time, especially this year, Premier League, so it's massive.
Rob, Chloe, I know you know what we've got as the opening day, but what were the fixtures you were looking forward to?
I was just hoping not to get someone in the top six. So like Chelsea, Man City, Man United, but...
Yeah. I guess now do we count Arsenal as a top six? We'll get onto the fixtures in a bit. Rob?
I was looking forward to playing anybody that we hadn't played since the 40s, 50s or 60s, of which there are quite a few.
Quite a few teams, yeah. Well, look, as I say, Rob, you do know your stuff when it comes to Bees. Hit us with some Premier League stats going into next season then.
Well, this will be successive games in the top division against Arsenal, games 2-1-0 and 2-1-1 in the top division. 27,109 days apart, though. And since that last game, we've played 3,375 league matches, scored 4,696 goals, 782 players, including these gents, have made their debut for Brentford since we were last in the top division. And it's like Christmas.
It is. Well, let's have a little look at those fixtures. We can bring them up for you on the screen. I know you've probably been staring at these all morning. And as like Rob said, our last fixture at this level was Arsenal. And we start with Arsenal at home on the 14th of August, followed by Palace away, Villa away, Brighton at home on the 11th of September, Wolves away, Liverpool at home, and West Ham away. Then 2 home games, Chelsea and Leicester, Burnley away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away, Everton at home, Spurs and Leeds away from home. That's around the FA Cup second round. We don't need to worry about that these days, do we? Watford and Man United at home. And then a couple of trips to the South Coast, Southampton and Brighton away, before 2 home games just after Christmas, Man City and Villa on New Year's Day. A little gap from league action until we play Liverpool. That trip to Anfield, a massive one on the 15th of January. Before we play Wolves at home, and another huge one against the champions, Manchester City away on the 9th of February, and then Palace at home just before Valentine's. Luckily that doesn't clash this year. I mean, not that I need to worry about it. Arsenal away, Newcastle at home, Norwich away, Burnley at home, and then Leicester and Chelsea away from home. And then a little run of London derbies there. West Ham at home, Watford away, Spurs at home, United away, Southampton at home, before we finish just after the FA Cup final with Everton and Leeds United. Chloe, then Arsenal at home, opening day, will you take that?
Yeah, I think when you're in Prem, you have to take anything, so Arsenal it is.
And Rob, what were your initial thoughts when you saw that opening day fixture?
Just how apt it was. That was the last fixture as well. It's just to sort of, did anyone look at our fixture lists before... The old ones before they put the new one together. So it's fantastic that it's... and also the crowd will be similar to... In the new stadium, will be similar to that last crowd against Arsenal. Because in 47, everyone had given up on them by the time they were relegated. And so the crowd was just over 17,000. So 17,000 again.
There we
Will
go.
be.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, absolutely.
Marcus, what did you think when you saw Arsenal? Again, some people are saying they're not going to enjoy that game, are they? Because we're on a bit of momentum as well.
Yeah, we've got that momentum. We've got great players in there. I'm sure we're going to add a few additions to it. And that's going to make it a very, very good game anyway. So, yeah, we've got to go into these games fully focused. It's a ruthless level to play at. And there's no sort of honeymoon period, you can say, at this level because everyone is so ferocious.
Karleigh, what stood out to you in that fixture list? Because you were the first to message me pretty much after it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all the bigger teams away at the end of the season, towards the second half of the season, which means we've got the teams that might be in and around us at home, which hopefully will be a little bit of an advantage for us.
And talking about those away games, Marcus, you've obviously been at this level with Wimbledon. Look, let's get it right. You probably went into some of those fixtures as the underdog, as we might do, away at Old Trafford, away at Man City, Liverpool, places like that. Without going all Monday Night Football 2 minutes into the fixtures show, did you set up differently for those games?
Yeah, some of the games we used to keep the grass long. If it was against the footballing
Yeah, you got any grass at the moment.
But yeah, we had to use some special tactics for certain teams. But great players, they always find a way to overcome that. But yeah, it was an enjoyable time. But I think the start of our season looks quite healthy for us. I think there's chances to win and to get points on the board.
Well, we'll have a little look at that in a sec. But Karleigh, the other thing I wanted to look at was there's obviously games after European night. So we'll be playing West Ham on October the 2nd. That'll be after they've played in Europe. So that'll be likely moved to Sunday or Monday. Then Leicester at home on the 23rd. That'll be the same thing. So we already know there's going to be fixture changes and this list is taken with a pinch of salt. Naturally now we're in the Premier League. But when we do play those teams after Europe, does that make a difference? Because people say about a little European hangover. You've got to go, haven't you? Basically, this is what happens. We go to the Premier League. He's going off to speak to Liverpool TV now. He's
I've
got
been
that big
stitched
time.
up by Wakeford here yet again.
He's got me going, I'm all right to speak to Liverpool this morning. Sorry, a bit busy. He'll come back. Go on.
Hopefully I'll get a feeler top when I come back as well.
I was going to
By
say,
the
you're going to
way,
get the
it's,
feeler top.
Jurgen Klopp's birthday, so you can say that to them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's about us anyway. You go do your thing. Ambassador for who these days, eh? Go on, off you go. Karleigh, as I was saying, some of those teams we're playing will come after European nights, and they might have had long trips. Does that make any difference? I'm just looking at things that we've never been used to.
I think it might. I think for West Ham it might. It's something that a lot of their players wouldn't have done. So, they'll obviously possibly be a bit fatigued, not being used to that in their fixture list normally, the travel and bits like that. So for them it might play a part. Leicester, some of their players have had experience because they've been in and around it before. But again, I think it's just, for me, it's just making sure that every game that we play, we need to attack it in the best way. And there'll be times where we'll have to be really defensive, really solid and compact, making sure we're hard to break down. And there'll be other games where we can be a little bit more free against certain teams. And it's just making sure we know when and what time is the right to do it. What time is the right time to do it.
Chloe, as a fan of those games last year in the Cup against the likes of Spurs, where we held our own and we beat Southampton, obviously we did pretty well in those matches. Has that given you as a fan confidence going into this season and something that we can take into it?
I think you always have to be confident with the side you're supporting. So, yeah, especially because we played Tottenham. I'm hoping we can keep it together, but you never know with Brentford.
But Chloe makes a good point there that Spurs are seen as one of the better teams in this league, and we more than held our own, didn't we, Rob?
Well, I think as we're such a football team, we'll get more space in the Premier League. The players will be able to express themselves, and they get rest this season. They'll be able to work on. Much more able to work on tactics and just resting between games. Look at the fixture list with the gaps between the fixtures. So they won't be sort of running on empty like they were in a couple of games last season.
It was a relentless year, wasn't it? Saturday, Tuesday, and now we haven't. Looking at that, there's not many midweek fixtures, and we know nowadays you don't see so many postponements and rescheduled games and things like that. So yeah, there'll be the odd Sunday, Monday move, but that can also mean you get a longer break because if you played the Saturday before. Look, you guys have been reacting to the fixtures as well. Let's have a little look at what you've been saying. Jonathan Hope, now it's sunk in. It definitely has. Jonathan, James says, Arsenal at home, oi, oi. I'm assuming you mean that's good. Yeah, I think maybe you think we might do that one. LJ says, convinced this is still all a dream. It's not a dream. It ain't a dream. I keep thinking it as well, but now they've written our names. Now he's got to do LFC TV. It means they know about us. These teams know about us now. Gary Smith says, wowzers. Now the reality kicks in. And Nathan Caton, OK, time to reorganise my gig list. Yes, Nathan, sort out that gig list. Do one down here. Let us all come. So, yeah, get rearranging your gig list. Maybe, change a few Manchester ones around the games and things like that. Let's look at this fully then and look at it properly. And like all good stories, we should probably start at the beginning. So let's look at the first 5 fixtures of this season. Arsenal at home, Palace away, Villa away, Brighton at home, Wolves away. Rob, what are your thoughts on those first 5 games?
Well, you'd have to say that we'd be looking to win at least one. That's got to be the objective to begin with, and pick up a minimum of 5 or 6 points to just get off to a good start.
Karleigh, Marcus kind of alluded to it a bit. Is it a case of carrying on the momentum from last season and riding on that wave?
Yeah, I think it is. I think you do need to take last season's momentum into the new season for sure. When you look at that first 5 games, there's teams that, for me, I think Brentford will be competing against and around, and I think it's a good opportunity to get yourself on a good run. And I think it's possible for Brentford to come away with a decent points tally from that as well.
Well, Chloe, that first away game is one that stood out to me. Palace. It'll be their first home game under a new gaffer. They still haven't announced that manager yet. Is that a good time to play them then, do you think?
I feel like it'll be a good time to play them. They don't have a manager. Players might be all over the place thinking, who's my new manager? So I think it is a good time to play them.
And when a new manager comes in, I imagine it took you a while to get used to him when he came in as your gaffer.
No chance.
But Karleigh, seriously, how long does it take a player and a squad to get used to a new manager? Because we're not far from the start of the season now, and they haven't appointed anyone yet. And there's a few teams like that, Everton as well. So playing Palace early on, surely that might not be a bad thing.
It might not. And look, when they do make the appointment, it very much depends on how the manager uses the players and connects with the players. If he goes in and tries to make big changes to some of the more senior players or players that have featured more in most recent times, that can cause upset. We don't know what type of influence the players have within the changing room as well. But they're going to be, the players are going to be trying to work out the manager at that point, and the manager is going to be working out his players. So for me, it will be a good time to play them, I think, because they'd likely maybe a little bit unsettled with trying to get used to the manager's kind of philosophy and formation, maybe.
Yeah, it's a high turnover of players as well, isn't it? They've released a lot of players, and I imagine there's that nicety bit at the start with the gaffer. Like, you want the honesty, like, I bet you weren't telling him how you really thought about him until he got into about half a season, do you know what I mean? But they say a good start is important, but let's have a look at our first 5 games over the last 5 years. I mean, we've got the graphic here. 2016-17 season, 7 points, we finished 10th. 17-18, we only got 2 points from our first 5 and finished 9th. The next year, 8 points, finished 11th, and then 4 points, finished 3rd. 7 points, finished 3rd. There's not really a formula there, Rob. Everyone says a good start's key, but...
There's not. There's always a lot of factors as well in the start. New players to bed in. Now, we'll have most of our players who will hit the ground running this season, so there's no excuse in terms of bedding in new players. We've normally had 3 or 4 new players. There may be 3 or 4 new players, but whether they're integral to the way we play is we wait to see. But we should be hitting the ground running with the momentum from last season, which we didn't in some of those seasons.
It's gone the days that we used to quite often see, like, not saying like in the League 1 and 2 days are too obvious to say, but you turn over a lot of players and you bring in almost a whole new squad. But saying that, Karleigh, I know we're saying that there's not really a formula. As players, though, surely you just want to get off to a good start and get that first win under your belt?
Yeah, you do. You want to get off to a good start. And no matter what league you're playing in, that's what you want to do. You want to get off to a good start. It's even more important this year because we're in the Premier League and we know how tough that league is to stay in and compete in. So getting off to a good start is going to be key.
And Rob, what would you see as a good return then from those first 5 games?
As I said, about 5 or 6 points, at least 1 win from those 5. Don't know where that will come from, but it's a sort of 1 win from the 5, and to play well, because I mean a couple of those seasons you mentioned, we were playing really well but didn't get the return of points. If we're playing well, in our style and we're not quite getting the returns, then we as fans are not going to say, oh, we're doomed this season. We're saying we're playing the results will come if we carry on playing like this. So that's what you got to look forward to.
Chloe, as a player, do you look forward to that opening day?
Yeah, I do. It's just like the adrenaline, everything that comes with it. It's exciting.
And I guess it'll be even more for these guys, Karleigh, because every chance that we don't know, but I imagine Sky will be looking at that fixture going, I want to put that on telly. So it's a wide audience, a big game, hopefully a full crowd here. We don't know yet at the moment. That, like Chloe says, that adrenaline's going to be through the roof for some of these players.
Yeah, for sure. Brentford are stepping into the Premier League, and the first game that you're going to walk out on the pitch is against Arsenal. That's huge, and it's massive for everyone involved. The club, players, obviously, staff, and the fans. It's a great way to kind of welcome us to the Premier League, and sets us up for kind of understanding the standard that we're going to be playing at as well. So it's just about preparing, which they will be over the summer. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 additions coming in as well, which will add even more quality that we've got. We've got a fantastic squad at the moment. So
Look, we said there's nothing in it, but last year the 3 promoted teams, Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. West Brom and Fulham didn't get a win in their first 5 games. Leeds did. We all know what happened. West Brom and Fulham went down. Another stat for you. Here we go. Rob, get ready for this one. You'll like this. So out of the 27 debut clubs in the Premier League, only 6 have won their opening matches. So that's Pompey, Bradford, Reading, Hull, Blackpool and Huddersfield. 5 of those 6 have stayed up. Blackpool, the only ones that went down. Chloe, I know as fans we do this all the time, but remember we take that?
Yeah, I think anything is a sign now. So
exactly. So if we can get that win against Arsenal, it's going to stand us in good stead. Where should we look next? We've picked out a few little runs. One is the pre-Christmas run of games between October the 30th to the 11th of December. So we've got Burnley away, Norwich at home, Newcastle, long old trip up there away, Everton at home, Spurs away, Leeds away, Watford at home. That tees up a trip to United, but we're not going to mention that one. Absolutely no disrespect. I know you keep having a go at me for saying no disrespect before we went on air, but no disrespect to those teams that we've just mentioned there. Let's get it right. Every team at this level is pretty handy. There's a reason they're in the Premier League. But that's a run where maybe we should be looking to pick up some points, maybe, Karleigh, ahead of a big, busy Christmas period.
Yeah, I think we do. I think when we have little clusters of games and it's busy like that, I think you need to try and find some momentum in terms of wins and getting results. But for me, we definitely need to be looking to getting results there. You look at kind of Newcastle, Norwich, Watford, Burnley. They're teams that potentially are going to be in and around us. So it's really key that we kind of get good results there and like I said, pick up momentum moving forward.
And that does tee up Christmas. I mean, I can't even think about Christmas already. As fans, Chloe, do you make a big deal out of the Christmas period and the Boxing Day fixtures?
my family does. Like me and my dad, or people ask us to do something, we're like, no, we have football on Boxing Day, we can't attend, sorry. So yeah, it is a big thing in my household.
Yeah. Rob, how have we done traditionally on Boxing Day?
Not too bad. And looking right back to the 30s when we were in the top division, we had some quite significant Boxing Days. We did the double over Manchester City one Christmas, and we did the double over Preston, which launched the team as a top 6 team way back in the 30s. But recently, yeah, boxing, I can't remember many bad Boxing Days.
Yeah, I love a Boxing Day game like yourself, Chloe. Unfortunately, this year it will be away from home, away down in Brighton. Fingers crossed we can make the trip. But looking at that game's 2 trips to the South Coast, Southampton as well on the 18th, just before that Brighton game. Potential Carabao Cup game on the 22nd, just before Christmas. And then, just before New Year's Eve, finishing 2021 with a game against the champions here, Manchester City. Pep Guardiola be down there somewhere. That's massive, isn't it, Chloe?
Yeah, I just feel like all these games are so big. Like now we're in Prem, everything will be big to Brentford.
Yeah.
So they're all going to be so exciting.
Saying that, I'm not sure Pep and that are going to fancy coming here. It's going to be a bit of a shock to them, Rob. I know it's different to Griffin Park, but it's still the atmosphere we created with 4,500 fans for that playoff game. It's going to be a bit of a shock to them, right?
Be interesting to see how it rocks with 17,000 in. So it's whether, but however, it's not like from Marcus's day, that
Timing.
yeah, good timing, very good timing. Marcus's day of preparing a special pitch or not watering it to stop Manchester City being able to pass, because we want to pass as well. So it's a level playing field. If they're better than us, good luck to them.
How'd you get on, mate? All right?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Thanks for putting me out on the far side.
Big us up?
Of course I bigged us up.
Did you say it was Klopp's birthday?
No, I didn't say that. They didn't mention it.
All right, now. LFC TV, don't want to do your job for you. Anyway, moving on. This is about Brentford. Did you boys like the Christmas period?
No.
No?
Not personally, no.
Too many games, couldn't enjoy yourself at Christmas?
It's the sacrifice of players at Christmas. That's what a lot don't sort of appreciate. You don't get your family time, even though you're at home with your family, but you don't get that time with them. The hardest thing was like probably you train Christmas morning and it's an away game on the Boxing Day. So you're out of the house the whole day on Christmas Day. So I didn't really enjoy all that.
So when you said you always look for Christmas, so you'd have looked at that and gone, oh, Brighton away. And also, I can't even have a few because City at home a few days later.
Yeah, like Gayley's right. There is a lot you sacrifice, and not just eating and drinking.
She mentioned eating and
But it's like, you know, I've got young kids, so I used to miss that in days of kids. There have been times when I've been in a hotel away on Christmas night and things like that. So it can be. But look, I'm sure all the players will be buzzing. Players know what they have to do in those situations anyway, so they'll be ready and raring to go.
No, and don't forget we're paid to do a job.
Yeah,
you play at Christmas.
I ain't getting my violin out for you boys.
Players don't celebrate Christmas. We celebrate it in May when the season's finished.
Exactly.
When you're going on your amazing holidays and stuff. I know it. Hey, look, anyway, we're not going to talk about that. I'm glad you enjoyed your Christmases in some way. Anyway, so that period also sees on New Year's Day a return of Ollie Watkins, Dean Smith, Esri Konsa, obviously Richard Kelly as well, with Villa on New Year's Day. So let's have a little look at the fixtures where players will be returning with their clubs nowadays. So it's always nice to see familiar faces, and we see one very early on, as you'll be able to see from this fixtures graphic. Neil Maupay playing here for Brighton on the 11th of September. Then on the 11th of December, Andre Gray returns with Watford. As we mentioned, the Villa boys on New Year's Day. James Tarkowski returning on the 12th of March with Burnley. Said Benrahma then comes here with West Ham on the 9th of April. And on the last day of the season, Stuart Dallas will be arriving here with his Leeds United team, with obviously Pontus playing in front of his old fans as well. Chloe, who are you most looking forward to seeing return?
I would say Aston Villa.
Yeah?
Just because Ollie Watkins, he did play a big part at Brentford and he has a soft spot. Like, I have a soft spot for him, so...
I think that's it with Ollie. I think all of us, and there's still an attachment, isn't there, between the club and Ollie. I think it's a really nice relationship we've now seen. So that will be a really nice one, won't it, Marcus?
Yeah, the Villa game will be a special game because the people that left here to go to Villa, they were good people. They left on the right terms. They always spoke fondly of the club, even though they moved on. And that's what you want. You know, as fans, you want people to talk about you in a fond way.
Well, as a fan, Rob, then, who else are you looking forward to seeing? Or is it the Villa guys?
Yeah, I think it's them particularly, but Neil Maupay as well. He left on good terms. Anyone who's played a part in us getting to where we are now and has left on good terms and not at their own bidding.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not going to get into that. Neil, question on Neil. Do you think if he scores, I don't think he's going to score. If he does score, will he celebrate?
Of course he will.
Do you reckon?
He was our club pest. That's what I nicknamed him when he was there.
He was, but he still likes the club. This is I don't know with him because I know what you mean. He's a winner. He's like, but part of me thinks.
I think he'll do the celebration and then he'll go, I'm sorry, after.
Well, you can't do that. You can't.
That means he ain't sorry then.
No, don't work that way.
Many a player do that. Try to get round it that way.
Karleigh, you came back.
I did.
What kind of reaction did you get?
Well, to be fair, I actually came back in a friendly first with Millwall. And I remember it not being the greatest reaction, and I had a mare as well. But I'm never good in pre-season, to be fair. But then when I came back for Bristol City, I had a really good reaction. Fans were good. Good to me. I only lasted 17 minutes, but...
Well, so they were good to you, but how did you repay them? By scoring, didn't you?
I did, but I didn't celebrate. I come off the pitch for them.
You didn't celebrate. You didn't celebrate because you did your hamstring, didn't you?
Exactly. No, I didn't celebrate. I would never have celebrated. I shot, walked back, but yeah, I did my hamstring and come off. So.
Did you two boo him? I bet you boo him all the time now. If you knew he was going to be your future gaffer, you would have been giving him hell, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I didn't boo him then, but I'll probably boo him now.
It's always counterproductive. Obviously, it's counterproductive to boo players because it'll raise their game, and particularly if they think, oh, I'll show them. If
Well,
they disrespect me, I'll show them.
That's an interesting one. Where do you guys stand on that? Because some people here will boo Ollie Watkins. That's not saying it's right or wrong. Some people think when they arrive here, we need to make that a horrible experience for these players because they're not Brentford players anymore. And I get that. Yeah. I don't really know where I kind of conflicting feelings towards it. I don't really know what I do. Rob, so you're saying you if you boo, you think
you don't boo individually. You'll be getting at Villa collectively. You won't be sort of. He won't be singled out for any treatment. I mean, that's the issue where it's quiet and the player is singled out for treatment every time he touches the ball. Mentioning no names.
I think you'll get Brentford reject no matter what. If there's whoever the player is.
Reject? How much money did he earn us last year?
I know, but this is how football fans work.
I know that, but...
I love Ollie Watkins. I won't sing it. It's an interesting one because it's going to be a weird dynamic when those players do return. I think we're getting into stuff we don't really need to be getting into. We're not going to help ourselves no matter what we say. I know, I wish I'd never asked. Did it feel weird though, Karleigh, when you did come back to play against Brentford?
Yeah, it did. It was really emotional when I came back. Just because at the point as well, when I came back, I kind of wanted to prove a point to certain people. So it was, it was a strange one.
That went well, didn't it? Yeah. Oh, we got rid of you because you were always injured. Oh, there you go. See you later.
Well, actually, might have got rid of me, by the way.
Physio was right.
For you, it must have been just nice to play at Griffin Park, wasn't it?
It was really nice to play at Griffin Park. I hadn't played there often.
Marcus, would it feel less weird, though, with these returning players coming here and not to Griffin Park where they had all their memories?
Yeah, there's no sort of emotional connection to this stadium for them, so that won't really have any bearing on them. They'll be just glad that, you know, the project of Brentford has now seen us into the new stadium and at Premier League level, so yeah, they'll just take it as it is.
Another thing to look forward to, guys, derbies. There's a lot of derbies next year. What derbies are you guys looking forward to, Chloe and Rob?
I would just say all of them.
Yeah.
I have friends that support like all these teams and it's a big day out. Yeah, just all of them.
That's the thing now. And again, I'm going to say that word again, no disrespect to the teams we've been playing, but we're at a level where all our mates...
Yeah.
Because I think I've always been in one of the minority with supporting a football league club, but all my mates support Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that, Chloe, that now it's going to be you can get bragging rights over your mates.
Yeah.
Which are the ones you most want to get bragging rights? You can call people out if you want. But, Rob, there is a lot of derby games this season, isn't there? And how do we normally fare in London derbies? Or I guess we haven't played a lot of these teams for a while.
No, we haven't played any of these teams for donkey's years. So it's not too bad. I mean, Arsenal, we were Arsenal's bogey team in the top division. We only ever played them in the top division, and we have an extremely good record against Arsenal.
There you go.
Losing only once at Arsenal and once here, and beating them in a lot of the other games. So they're our favourite. Of all these teams we're playing, Arsenal are our favourites in terms of the derby.
Here's one for you as well. Right, when I was in youth team, FA Youth Cup, we knocked Arsenal out.
Nicholas Bentner played, didn't he?
Bentner, Song played, Anthony Stokes. I think Cesc Fabregas might have been around it at the time.
Sure.
Yeah, Young went on the bench, yeah. He was, I think he was, yeah.
Wow,
so.
Well, there you go. So we've got recent.
We are their bogey team.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, they beat us in the cup a couple of years ago, but apart from that, but do you think it helps with these derby games? Will that help us in the season having these big matches, or is it a case of we've not really started any rivalries with these teams? You know what I mean? Like, even though Orient was East London, there was a bit of a rivalry there, wasn't there? And Millwall over the years, it's not a big rivalry, but we play them regularly because we've not got that rivalry yet. They're still London derbies, Marcus, but will they feel like London derbies yet?
Yeah, they will feel like London derbies. You know, when I look at the Chelsea game, October 16th, you're going to think, yeah, that's going to be a serious encounter. There's a lot of Chelsea fans in the area as well. So a lot of fans will be looking forward to that one. But it makes it even harder that there are so many London derbies throughout the season because there's going to be added pressure onto that. The fans are going to be up for it. The players need to be up for it. So, get it on.
What matchups? One I can't wait for. Vitali versus Kante. Oh my word! Get the running stats for that game. I don't know There's just going to be 2 marathon runners running around the pitch, and then 20 other footballers playing football around them. That is going to be an incredible battle, isn't it, Karleigh?
It will be. Listen, there'll be a lot of running, a lot of pitch coverage. It'll be interesting. Vitali was fantastic this year, so I'm sure he's looking forward to challenge himself against the likes
I've
of
got one.
Kante.
Go on, hit me.
Rico Henry
Yeah.
up against Salah. I
Ooh!
want to see the speed stats for that one.
And then Dan
shout.
James United. There's some
Not a
rapid
bad
plays. There's also, I can't wait for like Ivan against like Ruben Diaz. How good is that going to be?
Do you know what? I think when Ivan plays defenders, they're not going to like it.
Nah, they're not, are they? Because these are the modern day centre halves, aren't they, Rob? These are centre halves that don't like Ivan's
Yeah.
getting into them and stuff like that. I think they'll be like, hang on, what's this? We're not used to this.
They don't like the contact.
No.
And I'm sure Ivan will ruffle a few feathers at the same time, but he's a different type of striker. He's got to find his way at this level as well, and I'm sure he'll do very well.
Like Envy Maguire at Old Trafford. Imagine that. Just Old Trafford in silence as he body checks Maguire and Maguire just goes down. That's going to be massive. Just
Van
the Man
Dijk.
United kid. Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
Forgot
Van
about him
Dijk.
because he missed last season. Anyway, I forget we're still on air here. I'm just getting too excited. We can't skip the run-in. Let's have a look at the run-in, at the final fixtures. And it is an interesting run-in. A lot of London derbies towards the end of the season. And then we finish. Well, the last 5 are Spurs at home, United away, that trip to Old Trafford, Southampton at home, Everton away, and then Leeds United here at our home ground. Who knows where we'll be at that point of the season? But Rob, looking at the run-in, it's hard to say if it's an easy run-in or not, or if it's a good run-in, or these teams want to play, because we don't know where anyone's going to be. You don't know. Southampton might have a phenomenal year and be doing what West Ham did this year. So, is there such thing as an easy run-in?
No, there's never an easy run-in. Look at us over the last few years.
Yeah.
The easy run-ins turned out not to be easy run-ins. So it depends where on the context.
Yeah.
If we're okay by then it might be easier. If we need a couple of points, it might be easier. It just depends on what's preoccupying the other teams as well.
Well, you say it does mean what's right on it will dictate those fixtures. And Chloe, we're looking at that last day of the season. Potentially, if we do need something, we're playing Leeds United here. Pontus Jansson in front of his old fans. That's going to be an emotional day for him. Obviously, he'd have played at Ellen Road early in the season, but that's going to be a big game, isn't it, Chloe?
Yeah, I think Leeds fans still like him. I'm not sure, but yeah, it will be very emotional for him.
And I think with that game, you'd like to think there'll be away fans in the stadium by then, hopefully. So if there is something riding on that, Leeds fans are probably one of the best in the country. You love them or hate them, fair play to them. They are pretty good, and that would be a hell of an atmosphere on the last day if it does mean something, Karleigh, right?
Oh, it will be. It'll be a great atmosphere. And a great time to get a good result against Leeds as well. It will be interesting. I hope there is away fans, because it just makes the game so much better, makes things so much better. So let's hope that can happen.
Well, on that as well, so we're talking then, you've got a trip to Old Trafford in there as well. That was one that I'm sure a lot of Brentford fans were looking at. Chloe, was that one that you earmarked as an away fan that hopefully you'd be making the trip to? Karleigh's looking because basically, it's a game then.
Yeah, so if I don't make it onto the pitch on Sunday, it's because I went to the away game.
Okay, it might cost you a place the week after. You're not going to walk straight back in.
But how are we feeling in general about now we've seen those fixtures? We can look into next season, and we kind of alluded to it earlier. Rob, we're not tourists this year, are we?
No.
We mentioned that, we're looking forward to going to Old Trafford. We're looking forward to seeing these players. But it is business and it is football again. And we're here for a reason, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And although as a fan of long-standing, I'm sure other fans of long-standing are just looking forward to win, lose or draw this season, whatever happens. Yes, it's important for the club to carry on its progress, to actually survive next season and then thrive thereafter. I mean, it's part of it's the plan, isn't it? I mean, it's not, we don't have to sort of get into Europe next season or anything, we just have to stay up. So it is important, but in the club is on such a fantastic foundation now that were relegation to happen, I don't think any long-standing fans would say it's the end of the world, because we'd be one of the strongest teams waiting to come back up again.
Yeah.
So it's if it takes that to be a yo-yo team, it takes that. But yes, it is important. We don't want to embarrass ourselves in this season.
No.
So.
I think it's going to be an interesting year, and obviously, like we say, we're not playing ourselves down. But Chloe, as a fan, I'd probably say I would 17th today if someone offered it to you.
Yeah, like Rob said, just to stay up would be nice.
Yeah, and I think that's not being defeatist, and the club will be setting the bar higher than that. And obviously, as fans, we want it. But let's be realistic. It'd be an amazing achievement to stay in the Football League, because we've seen other teams, so many teams, do yo-yo up and down. What is key then, Marcus, to ensuring we are safe next season?
Sticking to our identity, our brand of football. I'm sure that's going to maybe be tinkered with a little bit. Are we going to have the ball as much as we had last season? I don't think so. So we've got to adjust in certain areas and maybe hit teams on a break with the pace that we have and probably could potentially be bringing in. But look, it's a great sort of fixture list for us to go and show the world what Brentford's about and what it's been building over the last, say, 9-10 years. It's come to this point. I would take 17th, but I think we could finish a little bit higher than that. Being honest, I think there's teams that we can definitely, do better than them. I'm not going to say that we're going to finish top 10. I would never say that, but I think we could finish at a reasonable level at this season.
Karleigh, they say 40 points is a magic number. Burnley did that with 39. Burnley got 10 wins and stayed up last year. Then Fulham only won 5 games all season. If you're looking at that fixture list, do you see 10 wins in there?
I do, personally. I do. As long as Brentford go into this and don't become overwhelmed, which I don't think they will. I can see us doing that for sure. It's gonna be a huge test, but this isn't a case of this was lucky we got into the. Brentford have been preparing for this for a long time, so behind the scenes they'll be ready, and we are ready to play in the Premier League and hopefully stay there for a long time now.
And people talk about home form. Rob, how important will that be next year? I mean, 2 of the relegated sides, West Brom and Fulham, they struggled at home last year. Fulham, they only scored 9 home goals all season. If we can turn this place into a bit of a fortress, how big will that be?
Yeah, I think the fans will make a big difference in that, because it's still a new ground virtually to the players as well. So it's new for everybody. So that I was quite surprised that wasn't a handicap this season, that everyone coming to a new ground, everyone was starting on the same thing. But I think the fans will make a huge difference this season. It'll be as hostile as Griffin Park, I think.
They definitely do. And a lot of you have been commenting on those fixtures. Here's a few of your comments. James McLeod, Arsenal at home, come on boys. Debbie Horwood, we are Brentford FC, we are Premier League. Yes, we are, Debbie. And what a year it's going to be. Gandalf, I don't think it's the Gandalf. Hope it ain't. Well, maybe he's a Brentford fan. He said holidays booked for December, Thailand. Looks like the missus is going on her own. No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Love it, Gandalf.
Or just come back for the City game, maybe. I don't know. See what the flight's like.
That pro mentality, innit?
Yeah, although we're Premier League now, that will be massive in Thailand, I imagine. So you can watch the games out there. I mean, look, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I'd probably...
Understands the level of sacrifice he has to make for the Premier League.
No, yeah, it's brilliant. Barry had a lifelong dream come true. I hope my granddad is watching from above. I think that's a really emotional and sentimental thing, because I think there'll be a lot of Brentford fans, won't there, that will have had loved ones that have maybe passed recently or that would have loved to have seen us play in the Premier League. And I think on the backdrop of all this, it will be an emotional season, won't it, Rob? It
will. My dad was here as a 17-year-old for that Arsenal game, and he died in 2002.
Oh, wow. Oh, right, yeah. So I think that's it. It's going to be... There's going to be that, and there's going to be a lot of people when they do get to be here. We'll be looking around, and that's what it is. It's a family club, and it's always been, and that won't change now we're in the Premier League. Guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you. I mean, see you two all the time, but thank you, Chloe and Rob, for joining us. We're excited. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
It's gotten real now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has gotten
Whose
real.
fixture list is this?
So, like we say, 11th of August, we'll be kicking off our Premier League campaign here against Arsenal. Mikel Arteta bringing his boys from North London to West London. It's going to be a great season. Let's kick it off with a bang. Come on, you bees, you Reds.